Welcome to election night. My name is Melissa Evans. I'm the managing editor here at the Long Beach Post. It's a little after 9 o'clock and we just got the first big batch of election results. So the way that they're counting votes this year is a little different, as we've already talked about. We got a big chunk of votes from mail-in ballots, as well as all of the early votes that came in through early voting, which started on October 24th. So we have a significant number of results, and we're just going to go through the results of the local council races. And we'll start with Council District 2, which I'm joined here by Kelly Puente, who is one of our senior reporters, and she covered the second council district race pretty closely. It feels like forever. But so far we have businesswoman Cindy Allen with a pretty significant lead. Kelly, what do you think about those results?
Well, this was surprising, and first of all, this was a hugely contentious race with a lot of mudslinging and accusations on both sides of fraud and both dueling FPPC, Fair Political Practice Commission complaints, both candidates, and it just got really ugly toward the end. So it was really, and it was such a tight race, so it was really curious to see who would pull out ahead. But right now we have Cindy pulling out with 54.73% of the vote compared to Robert Fox's 45%. And that's a little surprising because in March, during the March primary, Robert had a slight lead with less than 100 more votes than Cindy. But right now we're seeing, what was the number? I think it was close to 14,000 votes, and they haven't all been counted compared to just 6,000 votes in the March primary. So a significant number of more votes and a significant now margin for Cindy. So it's looking pretty good for her right now.
Yeah, and that's a big factor in this race versus the March race, which made it really hard to predict winners in some of these races because we had so many people voting all over the city who had probably never voted before.
Yeah, this is an epic turnout for Long Beach. We're expecting historic vote by mail. I believe it was like 60% was vote by mail just in March. So, and looking at that now with the huge amount of vote by mail, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 80, 90%.
Right. So these results could hold. We'll see as the night progresses. We're expecting to get some more results soon. But so let's talk about CD6, Council District 6, which is in central Long Beach.
That's also a surprising one.
Yeah. So, I mean, but this one is more closely tracks with the March results.
Yes.
So SARO, who is challenging longtime incumbent D. Andrews,
who was looking at his fourth term until
fixture.
We don't know now. Yeah, right. Longtime fixture, longtime Long Beach city leader.
She's got about a 60% to 40% lead in the central district area. So that's significant. She would be the first Cambodian to serve on the city council.
Yeah, that would be a huge for Long Beach, considering we have one of the largest, if not the largest, Cambodian population outside of Cambodia. I think we're like second to Lowell, Massachusetts, oddly. But that would be really interesting to see. Could see a big change to the council.
And I'll also note that D. Andrews is now the current vice mayor. So the council would elect a new vice mayor anyway in December once the new council's seated. But D. Andrews is very well known in Long Beach, so we'll be watching that one. Then Council District 8, also a little surprising. Al Austin, who's the incumbent, and Tanua Thrash Entuk were also in a very heated race. Yeah. And Tanua actually came out on top of a 3-person primary in March. So,
yeah, this is surprising that Tanua is now back at 43% compared to 56% for Al.
That's surprising. I would also note in this race a ton of union money poured into both candidates. Al was supported by the mayor, by some of his colleagues, Stacey Mungo, Susie Price. But Tanua was supported by Rex and some of
political action committee.
Right. It was an interesting race. So right now, Al is definitely in the driver's seat in that race.
And while we still have a lot of votes coming in, I mean, we already have a significant number of votes in so far. They've been counting, I think, since Saturday. So
Yeah.
this is we're not. It's obviously still way too early to call any elections, but I think this is a good indicator of what we might see for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, that's so Cindy Allen with a pretty significant lead, Sully SARO with a pretty significant lead, and Al Austin has the edge in Council District 8. So for Long Beach Unified School District, ERIK Miller at this point he is leading Tonia Reyes Uranga, who is kind of more the establishment pick. She was endorsed by a number of well-known politicians here. ERIK Miller's kind of a young, up-and-coming politician.
Antonia is a former two-time Long
Former
Beach City
city
Councilwoman, so very well known in the city. And Eric is more of grassroots. This is one of the closest races. I think it's only a few hundred.
It's very close, yeah. So I would be tentative to give any indication of how that's going to go. It is close, 52% to 48%. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But school board has suddenly gotten interesting.
Yes, finally some change.
Right.
Some change there. When I used to cover school board, they would meet for 30 minutes, and they got most of their dealing done behind closed doors. So when they actually came out to discuss stuff in front of the, in public, it was like these meetings were just 30 minutes.
Right.
And now they're actually debating stuff and having, not always agreeing on everything. So it's definitely a lot more interesting.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And then the last race that we'll talk about, Long Beach City College Board of Trustees. Right now, HERLINDA CHICO, who is a field rep for Supervisor Janice Hahn, is leading a collection of 3 candidates. So she has 44% of the vote. To Dick Gaylord, who's a local realtor, has 37%, and Lee Loveridge, who is a professor, has 19% of the vote. So, and that is a winner-take-all election, so whoever comes out on top is the winner of that race. The last one, Measure US, the ballot, the only measure on the ballot, which is the oil tax.
Yes, the oil tax. That one's doing really well. What is that, over 60%? Yeah, I just had it up here, but yeah, it's well over 60%, so that looks like it's probably going to pass. It's a 30-cent tax on oil barrels, and the money will go into the city's general fund and be used to spend. They're going to spend it on just different racial and equity programs, community programs, education type programs. So that'll be interesting to see. That's a significant chunk of money for the city.
So that's what we have so far. We'll be updating our live blog on lbpost.com, and we have the live results updating automatically on our live election results page. So stay tuned, and we'll be back.